place where they have not played well this year, Kevin. They're 12-9. They're a much better road team. They've won 8 straight games on the road. They have not had that level of concentration here at home.
Rockets are 9th in the Western Conference coming into tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers, number 4 in the Eastern Conference. Now it's 7-5 against the 7th Ilgauskas, and from behind it was swiped away. And here comes our first look at Cleveland's offense tonight. And Ilgauskas screen is for 2 right over Alston.
Larry Hughes playing much better over the last 7 or 8 games. He's more aggressive, getting to the free throw line. He's really picking and choosing his offensive spots very well. One of the reasons why Cleveland is playing well.
Ron James already had a block in this game. Here he is guarding Battier. With the shot clock down to 6, Luis Scola right into Daniel Marshall.
Now Luis Scola's game has gotten much better, Kevin. Early in the season, he was getting in foul trouble, out of sync. He's now starting to find a rhythm, and he's a big part of why the Rockets are playing better.
What kind of defense do you think the Rockets, Doug, are going to throw at LeBron tonight?
Well, they're going to try to mix and match. They'll start out with Shane Battier. They'll double team on occasions. He step out and miss that little open jump shot. They don't want Shane to get in foul trouble, so I think the next guy who will play him will be Chuck Hayes off the bench. They want a bigger, stronger body that can maybe bump LeBron around a little bit off some of those drives.
Houston hasn't played since Monday when they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves by 6. Some late game big shots by Tracy McGrady. Right there, Yao over Ilgauskas from outside.
And see, one of the things for Ilgauskas, I mean, one of the strengths of this Cleveland team is their front line. No Varejao tonight, no Gooden. And now you have Ilgauskas has to play against Yao Ming, and they've got to make sure they keep him fresh tonight. And over the next 5 or 6 games going into the All-Star break, Kevin, he's playing against the league's premier big men here 6 of the next 9 nights.
A pick and roll with Ilgauskas and LeBron, a 2-point miss and a rebound pull down by Tracy McGrady. The Cleveland Cavaliers are coming off a win the other night in Cleveland over the Boston Celtics on Tuesday. Marshall is on Yao. Rebound by Ilgauskas. Ira Newble's taking the place of Sasha Pavlovich, who is out for an extended period of time, maybe 2 months with a foot injury.
Newbell coming off a very nice game the other night against Boston, 6 of 9 from 4. He had 15 points, had a big play late in the game, a dunk to put them up 4.
They like this play. They quickly double Ilgauskas. The shot clock is at 3. LeBron working on Battier. And Ilgauskas from outside, he puts it in.
2 of the better shooting big men. When I mean big men, I'm talking about centers. I'm not talking about a Nowitzki or someone like that, but centers who can really step out on the floor and shoot the ball.
Good play for Alston. Ilgauskas again, and so now Yao has started this game 2 of 4.
See, the ability to make that shot, Kevin, you get that mid-post area, and Cleveland is not sure whether or not they want to double team, so it gives him an opportunity to play one-on-one coverage rather than facing a double team.
The defense by the Rockets, that's their calling card. One great defensive statistic after another, which we'll get into. Here is Luis Scola working on Daniel Marshall, the rebound by Ilgauskas. And James, number 1 scorer in the NBA with great plays like that.
He is so strong. He's a one-man fast break, Kevin. When he gets his shoulders by the defender, you're helpless. You're either going to foul him or he's going to get the score, or he's going to get a 3-point play.
That second dribble's devastating, isn't it?
Once he gets his shoulders in, you're in trouble.
Brady can't hit. Newbill was defending. Marshall grabs the loose ball for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Cleveland has started 3 of 6 from the field. Rockets have started 3 of 7. Big man again. Ilgauskas goes a couple times into Yao, grabs another rebound.
Rebounding is going to be very critical tonight. Both these teams are very good offensive rebounding teams, although Gooden and Varejao being out will hurt Cleveland's offensive rebounding.
Shot clock at 6 as Scola looks for Battier down low. That's the first turnover by the Houston Rockets. There's a take a look at first-year Rocket head coach Rick Adelman. Of course, he's been in the league a long time. And, you know, Doug, he has a certain style, a certain way of coaching. But you get the sense watching this team, knowing what he's got, that he is really not doing what he would like to do.
No, because they don't have the personnel to do it. The sign of being a good coach is understanding what your personnel is and tweaking it. As you've heard Steve Kerr talking about Mike D'Antoni going to do that now with Shaq. That's what great coaches do. You know, they take their personnel and come into training camp and see what you've got. Early in the season, he saw what he had. He had Tracy out with some injuries for a while, had to play without him. and now he's back. So it's still a work in progress. Scola's now into the mix. You're going to see some guys off the bench that didn't play early in the season. So he's still trying to figure out exactly who this team is.
Here's James again, picked up by Battier. LeBron has started 1 of 2. The Cap Scola out there getting him out. Trying to get inside to Newberg. Just extending that conversation on Adelman. I think in Sacramento, he loved the way his players would read and react. There's not much reading going on with this Houston offense.
Well, a big part of that was because his big men that he could invert out on the floor were the best passers on his team. Brad Miller, Vlade Divac, and Chris Webber.
Good pass from Brady to Yao.
So now he could invert his offense, get his bigs out, open up the middle. Now you had slashing and cutting. I think the 1 year, his 3 big men all averaged close to over 5 assists a night. So, I mean, that was a team that their big men got most of the assists.
And saved by Battier, picked up by Ilgauskas. And LeBron knocked away by Yao Ming, one of the top 10 shot blockers in the NBA. Here comes Tracy McGrady. Deflected by James. Here's a 3-on-2. Marshall on one side, Newberg on the other, and LeBron takes it himself.
That's what I said. That, once he gets in the open court, you're not going to stop him. You're going to have to take a foul, but great hands on that play. Got the deflection, and then once he gets that, Kevin, you said that second dribble, when he gets the full speed, you're in trouble.
How's LeBron's defense developing that?
He's getting better. He picks and chooses some of his spots, and that can, is to be understood. He's playing 42 minutes a night. He has to carry this team on really both ends of the floor.
Rebound by Marcia. Scola from point-blank range couldn't get it.
I think LeBron's defense gets better as the game goes on. And I think come fourth quarter, he does a nice job. He's a guy that plays passing lanes well. And I think his individual defense is starting to get better.
A lot of deflections.
A lot of deflections, a lot of steals, and that's how he gets in the open court on many occasions.
Alston had played a season at Fresno State, and here is Scola from Argentina. That's a 2.
See, in the Rockets offense, it's important for him to make that shot. When Chuck Hayes is on the floor, he's a good defender and a good rebounder, but teams don't guard him. So what happens is 2 guys end up playing Yao Ming all the time or doubling up on Tracy McGrady. So you need that power forward to be able to make some shots to keep the defense honest.
Cleveland 4 of 11, a 3 by Daniel Marshall, the former Big East Player of the Year at UConn.
That, to me, is a guy who's going to be very important during this stretch. They're going to have to get him back in shape. He was hurt, missed 43 games, actually only played 45 minutes coming into the game tonight, but he's a very, very good three-point shooter.
Here's McGrady inside to Yao. Right over Ilgauskas. And now 8 points for Yao Ming.
Well, when he gets it that deep, you're not going to be able to get back with a double team. Mike Brown thought he had been in the lane too long, but thought he got rid of the shot.
Now defending Ilgauskas. Boy, it's great to see big men who can shoot outside like this, and these are 2 of the biggest in the NBA.
Yes, they are. They got great shooting touch. Both these guys shoot great from the free throw line.
Scola, nice pump fake inside to get free.
But see, you've got to guard him, Kevin. You cannot play the way the game is played today. You can't play 4-on-5. You've got to have guys out there that you have to honor, whether it's stretching the defense behind the three-point line. But you can't let a guy just roam around defensively and not have to worry about his man.
Hughes is a work in progress in terms of him really sinking his teeth into this Cleveland team. LeBron, Newberg. McGrady's got him a travel on Newberg.
The fourth quarter. The Rockets need a cushion, and the Cleveland is shown to be the best come-from-behind team after trailing in the third quarter with 13 wins this year.
Daniel Gibson has come in, and Dwayne Jones has come in for Cleveland. Ilgauskas is out. And here comes LeBron James. Marshall remains on the floor. Larry Hughes continues on the floor. Good screen by Jones. LeBron can't nail it. And here comes Alston.
When Rafer Alston plays well, Houston is very tough to beat, Kevin. He's sort of the wild card of this team.
He's going to miss poorly there. Yao's 8 points, leading all scorers. Can I go back to something you said the last segment about Houston playing better on the road than at home? That doesn't mix.
Well, we saw it 2 years ago here. They had a better road record than they did home. I don't know if they get home and expect that it's going to happen for them here. Their focus is better on the road. They shoot better on the road. especially Tracy McGrady. He's been really talked about, LeBron misses the jumper, about what a horrible arena this is to shoot in. So he has not shot well here this season, and it's really affected his team.
Austin took it inside. And not
back to Houston, the Rockets with a 1-point lead. I'm Craig Sager with the Lincoln Sideline Report. The Rockets playing with Tracy McGrady, who remains on the court despite spending the entire day in the hospital with that upper respiratory infection and strep throat. He's been laboring on the court. When they have the timeouts on the sideline, he is being attended to by the athletic trainer staff. Also being monitored very closely by the two team physicians, Dr. Tom Clanton, also Dr. James Mutz. What they're looking for is if he's more tired than normal on the court, if he looks fatigued, and if he is sweating more than normal. Apparently, they asked him if he had a fever. He said no. They took his temperature. He did not have one. He says he is not having the chills. I asked how long he can last. They said minute by minute. But as you can see, he is not coming out here after that timeout. Kevin?
Bonzi Wells, thank you, Greg, has taken his place. Carl Landry has come in for Yao. Smaller lineup out there now for the Houston Rockets. By Austin over Daniel Gibson.
Again, Kevin, he is the guy that when he plays well, normally Tracy McGrady's going to get his numbers and Yao Ming. He becomes that third guy. Shane Battier, you can count on him to knock down open shots. But Rafer Alston, so important at that point guard position to play well.
Here comes Hughes inside, forcing the issue, trying to get it outside to Marshall. Deflected out of play in 11 seconds on the shot clock.
I think one of the things when you look at Houston's team this year, you look out now, you got Luis Scola, who was not with this team last year, Bonzi Wells, who was here, who really didn't play, was never in shape, and Carl Landry in the game now. And these guys bring energy off the bench, which is so vitally important during the course of a season. So they can go to their bench now and get activity and get plays, something they did not do last year.
It's James inside and fouled as he goes up for two. That's the first foul of the game. Devin Brown has just checked in for the Cavs, as has Damon Jones for Cleveland.
So that was actually Bonzi Wells' fault on that play. He's got to prevent that. He's guarding the man out of bounds. He cannot let that pass come to the middle. He's got to force that pass to the outside. He shielded the outside shoulder rather than the in, and that way LeBron was able to dive right to the basket, and Shane Battier had no help.
And Battier, though, picked up the first personal foul of the game. And here comes Battier. And a mismatch against Damon Jones.
Well, Shane going right to the post. You don't normally see Shane down there, but that was such a mismatch with Damon Jones. All he had to do is take his time and go up and knock that shot down. Very good three-point shooting lineup in right now for Cleveland. Daniel Gibson and Damon Jones.
Pick and roll. Jones to Brown, the rebound by Wells.
See, LeBron actually can play as a four-man in this lineup now because the Rockets have gone small. So you see LeBron out there with his shooters. They've now gone to a small lineup.
Here's Wells coming off a good game up in Minnesota. Carl Landry, who played at Purdue. Wells over Brown.
I read an article about him today. He said, he ran into a rut where he was falling in love with the jump shot too much. He's a slasher, he's a cutter. He went back to doing that. His game has picked up. Knocked in the little jump shot there, but he's a very good offensive rebounder. And LeBron once again getting into that lane, Kevin. If he's going to get in there, he's going to be on that free throw line all night long. And he's a guy who's second in the NBA in free throw attempts. He averages about 10 and a half a game. Dwight Howard leads the league with almost 12. Allen Iverson is third, and Dwayne Wade is fourth. So guys that get that ball to the rim and get fouled.
Finishing up on Bonzi Wells, a guy who didn't see much time with Jeff Van Gundy, Doug, last season all. Yeah, he said he wants to get in that lane a little bit more, like you were talking about, not just settle for the outside mid-range shot.
Because he's a very streaky outside shooter when he shoots a knuckleball. So he's never going to be consistent with that, but he's a great offensive rebounder and very good in the lane.
Wells had picked up a foul at the other end. He's got it right now, facing the double. Well, they say when McGrady's out, the ball moves better, the balance is better on the floor for this Houston team.
Well, they have to depend on each other more. I mean, Tracy can get a shot anytime he wants to.
Missed by Alston. Landry in there, digs it out, working on Dwayne Jones. Here comes Devin Brown. And LeBron. He has started 3 of 7. He's got 6.
Now if you help off either Gibson or Damon Jones, you're going to be able to get an open shot. Here's a slasher, but Devin Brown in the lane.
What a dive inside by Devin Brown, the ex-San Antonio Spur.
See, LeBron just picks you apart, Kevin. He's so big, he can read over the defense, and he sees where the defense is coming, and he really has learned, almost like a quarterback in football, to see where the help is and where his lanes are.
Austin with the drive. Cavaliers had a foul to give. The drive takes him inside, and the foul is going to be on Cleveland. It's going to be on Gibson. Now let me ask you something about it's great to be a passer. But boy, if that passer, Doug, can have patience, and that's what LeBron, I think, as he continues to evolve, has really shown a lot of patience for letting those guys get open and the defense to kind of react.
Well, I think a lot of it is the experience, because there's no defense now that he's not seen. So he's prepared. So the big thing is, don't be in a hurry. Read the defense, and whatever they're going to try to take away from me, I know what my counter is. When you're younger, you have a tendency to want to do things too quickly, and you never really make a team pay for the defensive mistakes they make because you're in such a hurry. LeBron has got a great rhythm to his game. He takes his time, and he has great size, and he can find the open man when he just looks right over the top of the defense.
The defensive-minded Chuck Hayes has just checked in for the Houston Rockets. Final seconds here in this first quarter. Which you've seen the Cavaliers shoot 40%, and the Rockets shoot 45% from the field. It's Hayes working on James, doubled by Banyan. You can't find two better defenders on this Houston team as Damon Jones breaks it up. But that's why they brought in Hayes, to watch and double LeBron if he was going to take it in like he did.
Well, he got a good look at that one. LeBron, he was perfectly defended. Yes. He hung in the air. The last minute kissed it off the glass. And the Rockets off to a decent start here at home tonight with 11-6 run. They lead by 4.
Questionable status of Tracy McGrady affect your game plan, and what did you see out there with him laboring that you'd want to attack?
Oh, no. Tracy's a great player. It didn't affect our game plan. We went to the game. We prepared for him. We knew he was going to play. I think they were trying to use some type of psychological games against us or something, maybe. I don't know.
What type of rhythm do you feel LeBron is in?
He's in a good rhythm. He's been in a good rhythm for a while. He's attacking the basket. They went in there under a couple of pick and rolls. He looked pretty good on his jump shot. He's still got it. If they go under and he has a free throw line jump shot, top of the key jump shot, he's got to step in and shoot it. Thank you.
All right, Craig, thank you. Rockets have led this game by as many as 6. Cavaliers have had a lead of 2 points. LeBron James, 8 points, but Doug 0 of 3 from the stripe.
Yeah, I think when you look at the stats here early, I think that Rick Adelman has to be happy. 9 assists on 10 field goals for the Rockets. Moving the ball around, they only have 3 turnovers. So I think he has to be happy with their defense and what they did offensively in that first period.
Brady is back in there after spending the day at the hospital. There's a deflection and knock away and a steal for Bonzi Wells against Devin Brown. I want to think maybe Wells looked like he came off one of his feet wrong, and you can see he's a little bit in anguish there, but let's see if there's any result.
Look at this spinning move by LeBron James. Again, hanging in the air, 2 guys on him. On the way down, kisses that ball. I mean, you couldn't defend that any better than that. He's 4 of 8 here in the first quarter. He does have 8 points, and Bonzi Wells, not a good free throw shooter. But you saw the steal the last possession, and that's one of the things he's always been so good at. Bonzi Wells getting in the passing lanes, getting deflections. He led the NCAA in steals when he was at Ball State, but he's always been a bad free throw shooter.
He was a 2-time Missouri Valley Conference, Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year when he was at Ball State. A look inside as Landry was trying to work on LeBron James. Chuck Hayes was defending, and Chuck Hayes picks up the foul. That's the first on him. Let's take a look at the national TV schedule. Friday, ESPN, Boston, Minnesota. And then Washington, Denver. Saturday, NBA TV, Chicago, Utah. Sunday, ABC, San Antonio, Boston, the Lakers at Miami. James, Ilgauskas, and Devin Brown with Daniel Gibson and Damon Jones on the floor for the Cavs. Aaron Brooks has come in, the rookie for the Houston Rockets, with McGrady, Wells, Carl Landry, and Chuck Hayes.
Now with Aaron Brooks in the game, they'd like to see him push that ball. He brings a speed element. What you can do is now you get McGrady off the ball. And they'd like to do that more often when they get McGrady coming off screens so he doesn't have to fight people off the dribble so much.
Great move. There's the attacking move of Bonzi Wells.
Well, see, once again, Damon Jones was down there. We've seen him being posted up by Shane Battier, and that time by Bonzi Wells. So what Houston's doing is finding the mismatch and going right to it in the low post. That's good basketball.
He's watching James. Wells trying to close out on Jones. Picked up by Brooks. He led the Pac-10 in scoring. Rookie 26th overall pick. Wells again takes it inside. I want to correct something I said about Bonzi Wells. He was the MAC two-time player of the year. I think I said Ohio Valley Conference, and here is Bonzi again.
That's where he's at his best, in that low post.
A three by Brooks. And Daniel Gibson, who is from Houston, Texas. About 100 people here, family and friends watching tonight. Daniel Gibson, the all-time leading high school scorer in the history of Houston high school basketball. James throws it away and he'll sit down. LeBron 4 of 8, couple free throws, 10 points, only player in double figures in this game so far.
Well, let's see how long LeBron's going to be able to rest. The other night against Boston, he was plus 12 and he was on the floor, minus 11 when he wasn't. So we'll see how much time Mike Brown can buy with him here, especially with no Gooden, no Varejao, no Pavlovic.
Dwayne Jones is coming from LeBron, and he'll be taking a breather on the side as Landry is watching Ilgauskas. Jones, an open three.
Can't do that.
Nope.
This man got caught going back to help out, and you cannot leave Damon Jones. He's the self-prescribed best shooter in the NBA, so he's labeled himself that.
And recently he has been terrific for this team shooting.
Been shooting well. He comes in the fourth quarter. He and Daniel Gibson's very difficult to double off of LeBron James.
Good Hayes screen for T-Mac. Great offensive rebound by Wells. Landry inside. We've got two good rebounding teams tonight overall.
See, now the Rockets last year were space the floor, shoot threes, get back, don't give up fast breaks. This year they go to the offensive boards. Again, Kevin, they average over 15 points a game on the offensive backboard, which is last year they did not get those kind of points.
Trying to go inside. Brown's pass deflected, picked up by Hayes. And here comes McGrady. By the way, the Rockets are +6 in rebounding tonight. Hayes tried to set another screen. Here comes Wells working on Devin Brown. Rolls over him. And that is a defensive foul. Take a look at Mike Brown. Just signed a contract extension with this Cavalier team. Second personal foul is put on Devin Brown of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, there's Drew Gooden. Normally we see him and he's got his flamethrower out, Kevin. That's what you call him, and he usually hits his first 4 shots. He's out tonight. Pavlovic, who's could be out for as much as 2 months with a left foot sprain. Varejao sprained left ankle. You know, remember Pavlovic and Varejao both held out contractually, and so Varejao missed games early. He missed 25 all-told games so far this year. Pavlovic has only missed 9, but when he came back, he really struggled with his shot. He was just starting to get in some rhythm. So Mike Brown is going to have to do a good job here going to the All-Star break to sort of monitor this team, missing 3 key pieces right now.
He'll have to do a good bit of coaching. Varejao had that Rodman-esque style of play, tipping the ball to himself, keeping it alive, great rebounder, defense.
Well, that's a big part of those offensive rebounds. He and Jonas Ilgauskas, two of the better offensive rebounders in the NBA.
It's Brown inside over Yao. Wells, a very active game so far for Bonzi Wells, who really flourished a couple of years ago in the playoffs for Rick Adelman when he was the coach of the Sacramento Kings. A quick double and a little hand check there by Damon Jones on T-Mac.
Well, you can see whoever Damon Jones gets caught with here in this lineup, there's no really small players.
Hey, he dunked that with the left hand, right? They got to turn the lights off and go home. Game over. Oh, yeah. Dream shake. Dream shake. Dream shake.
That is Damon Jones, kind of an interesting note associated with Houston. He was the Houston Rocket ball boy during those championship years in the mid-90s. So when he comes back here, of course, you know, he feels a little something different.
That's why he was talking about Dream Shake. That's what Team Olajuwon.
There you go. Landry inside.
This Landry is a tough young player.
Such energy, huh?
Just relentless inside. That time just a little bit too undersized to get that shot off against Ilgauskas.
We have the block on the play, and here comes Cleveland. 10 points by LeBron, leading all scorers. Tracy McGrady has started 0 of 3. 8 points for Yao. Ilgauskas travel.
Nice job that time by Yao Ming. Doing a much better job. Used to get in foul trouble reaching a lot. He's got such better footwork inside. He keeps his hands up. He doesn't get as many touch fouls. Staying out of foul trouble this year, Kevin, which I think is so important for this team. He's got to be in the game late and got to stay out of foul trouble, especially he and McGrady have to be on the floor in the fourth quarter.
Cavaliers turn the ball over for the fourth time in this quarter. A miss by Yao, and a rebound inside is snared by Daniel Gibson. Way to Texas. And his emergence has been one of the bigger stories for the Cavaliers this season.
They really played well in the playoffs last year. Remember that game against Detroit, the knockout game in Game 6. Did a nice job defensively on Chauncey Billups in that series as well. So a little bit of an underrated defender. He's not big, Kevin, but he's quick. He's pretty strong. He's got very good hands.
He's on Brooks right now. Nice ball rotation. It goes from Brooks to T-Mac and over Damon Jones. Rebound collected by Dwayne Jones. Landry got the loose ball, and Yao is there with the sledgehammer.
Now, energy off the bench. We talked about it. Carl Landry just working to get that loose ball. He finds Bonzi Wells. A little touch pass to Yao Ming. In a game when you can steal some easy scores like that against a defensive team like Cleveland, it really helps your chances to win the game.
Jones a screen for Brown. Damon Jones, a late arriving closeout by Bonzi Wells and a triple.
Now, Bonzi Wells has got to stay attached to him. When you're playing Damon Jones, you cannot help. And that's twice he's helped, and both times he got burned.
Bonzi has lost a lot of weight coming into the season. They say, 20, 25 pounds from a year ago.
Yeah, he looks a lot better. He's in much better shape. Good Landry missing the dunk, but you can just see, Kevin, the confidence that the Rockets have in Landry. I was looking at one of the games he had in Indiana this year, 9 of 11 he was from the floor, had 22 points, 13 in the fourth quarter, and this kind of play on the road really endeared him to Rick Adelman to get some more playing time. And since he's been playing well, I mean, his number's been called every night, and he has responded.
He's got a brother, Marcus, who plays at the University of Wisconsin. This kid played at Purdue, and he was a second-round pick by Seattle. As you can see, some of the notes on Carl Landry. He has a sister who plays basketball too at Temple. As Ilgauskas picked up the first foul. The next 7 days, Doug, for this Rocket team, 4 straight home games, including tonight, are really, and they can see this, the Rockets do, will define where their season is headed.
Well, it doesn't do you any good to go out and win 8 games on the road straight and come home and not take care of home court. And that's what's happened this year. We talked to Rick Adelman before the game, and he said, we'll go out and win 3 road games and then come home and lose to a team we're not supposed to lose to here at home. And we've got to start taking advantage of our home court. And if they'll do this over here over these next 4 games, they'll be 12 games over 500 going into the All-Star break after starting out 15 and 16.
Jones over Brooks. Rebound by Battier out of Duke. It's Yao and Ilgauskas. Yao is 5 of 11. Shot clock is down to 6. Mismatch here. Brooks guarded by LeBron. A 3. And Ilgauskas grabs the rebound. Now Houston 1 of 8 on 3-point shooting tonight. They need that 3 to go.
Well, last year they were the 5th best team, shooting 37%. This year that number is way down. They're making 2 less per game. But on the flip side of that, they're scoring more in the points in the paint and getting more on offensive rebounds. So they've made up it really in that area.
Here's a good fake, and Yao did. And the rebound by Battier, but somebody held inside. With 5:29 to play. And we're back in Houston, Texas, where the Rockets lead 32-27. Daniel Gibson is back here in his hometown. His dad played college basketball for the University of Houston. And while a high school student at Jones High School here in Houston, he set the all-time high school scoring record in Houston high school basketball history. Went on to the University of Texas, where was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. And last year, when he was in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then in the course in the NBA Finals, he averaged double figures. He was the first rookie to do that in the finals since Sam Cassell did it back in 1994. So as Doug said, he really emerged in those finals. And now this year, in a regular season role, he has really established himself.
Yeah, Game 6, the deciding game when Cleveland won for the 4th straight time to knock out Detroit. He was brilliant in that game.
Newble is back in along with Donyell Marshall. Larry Hughes is in there with Dwayne Jones and James. That is the 5 out there for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Wells inside. He has come on and gone 3 of 5. 7 points for Bonzi Wells for the Rockets.
You know, Bonzi Wells really is a foul line and under player, Kevin. He's a guy that likes to catch that ball underneath the foul line and really go to work one dribble away from the basket.
Newble, you said the other night he had 15 points, and he's continuing in that frame. He's a guy that is taking the place of Sasha Pavlovich in the starting lineup.
And a guy normally who you put out there for defense, but the other night, 6 of 9 from the floor, had a big drive on the baseline, had a dunk that put Cleveland up 4 with about 42 seconds to go. They held on to win that game.
Battier for 3. It was a 3-point shot by Shane that won the game opener, the season opener against the Lakers on TNT in Los Angeles. Newble, another uncovered 3. Rebound by Yao. You appreciate Yao's work ethic in his game, don't you?
I do. I love. He's got a great sense of humor. Before the game, I was out and I saw him and sort of put his hand out to say hello, and I sort of slapped and he acted like I hurt his hand. He said, "I'm not going to be able to play tonight." And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And he started laughing like, "I'm just kidding." I mean, I love him. He just works hard. He's a great teammate.
Jeff Van Gundy said it was an honor to coach him because of his work ethic, how much time he puts in. And I guess you have a body that's 7'5". You have that kind of weight. You never really know what it's like to go back and forth and work as hard as he does with a body that big.
And especially as fast as the game is getting, Kevin. And, you know, you talk about just his impact here and what he's brought to the NBA. But how about the other night in Milwaukee when he and Yi played against each other? 200 million people watched that game in China, that regular season game, 200 million. To put that in perspective, about 98 million people watched the Super Bowl here the other night in the United States. Obviously, that didn't count who people watched overseas, but 200 million watched a regular season game between Yi and Yao Ming.
That's amazing. Scola, by the way, picked up his first personal foul moments ago. Dwayne Jones on a St. Joseph watching Yao. Alston, shot clock is down to 5. Bonzi Wells.
There's that attack. It looked like, Kevin, he was going to shoot the jump shot. And it was almost like that little voice in his head said, go to the basket. Now watch this here. You can't really see it from that angle, but he does attack and the powerful finish. Again, Bonzi Wells, this is when he's at his best. Remember when he played for Rick Adelman in Sacramento, that playoff series he had against San Antonio, they could not keep him off the boards. And single-handedly, he almost helped them win that series against the San Antonio Spurs.
We're in the playoffs in that year you're talking about. Averaged 23 points, Doug, and 12 rebounds a game. He was terrific. James with the 3. Yao picks up another rebound. He's collected 6. Battier for 3. And picked up by Larry Hughes. So on a night when the Houston Rockets don't have a healthy Tracy McGrady, they got a 6-point lead on one of the top teams coming out of the Eastern Conference, a team that is gaining momentum, the Cavaliers, as the season goes on.
Well, their defense has gotten better. Their defense and rebounding in this little stretch where they've been 15-4, much improved over the start of the season. Wow. Well, see, that's when you are guarding him. You go, there's nothing I can do about this. You love it when he comes down and you go behind that screen and he pulls up and shoots that long jump shot. That way you don't have to worry about putting him on the free throw line or playing him against that penetration.
Ron's got that game high 13 going right now. You know what's amazing about James, although he is not officially listed as a point guard, he plays that. Here's an outside shot for Hughes, who puts in a 2. But he touches the ball so often, does LeBron.
Well, it's a little bit like, you know, when Scottie Pippen was in Chicago. I mean, he was their small forward, but he basically ran that offense. Grant Hill was a forward for me in Detroit. He had the ball in his hands the whole game. So, you know, he might be a forward, but he's creating all the play.
2-point game. And that is a Cleveland foul.
Well, 2 good defensive teams, so we have a low-scoring game as would be expected, especially with Tracy McGrady not feeling well. But, Kevin, when LeBron gets the ball on the wing, what you'd like to do is load up your defense. You got a better chance of guarding him. Now what he does is, I'm going to get the ball in the middle of the floor, and now I can see everything. And now they try to switch it. Now he just drives the ball right through the middle, too strong. So when LeBron is at his best, he's in the middle of the floor. I've always said on the wing, they zone him up, and he looks to that weak side to become a passer, and that's when he finds his three-point shooters. But you can see tonight, in the middle of the floor, he has 4 of his 5 field goals. That's where he's most effective, and that's where he likes to operate. That's where he can see everything and see where the defense is coming from.
Leading scorer in the NBA is LeBron James. He is the current Eastern Conference Player of the Month in January. Yao is the current Western Conference Player of the Month in January. Taking a look at LeBron. Houston, by the way, and we know that three-point shooting is so important for them, but it has been down this year. 1 of 11, Doug. They've missed 9 consecutive threes of the Rockets tonight.
And again, Kevin, it was such an important part. They made almost 9 a game last year. This year, they're a little over 6. So that has not been nearly as good for them. Their shooters are not shooting nearly as well as they did last year. A little bit of different style. Maybe shots are coming differently.
Here's Hughes again. Doug, his game is, and I use the term leveling off in a good way, because now it seems like he is finding his role on this team.
I think he's getting comfortable in how they need him to play to win. You know, it's not about big numbers with Larry. Defend, slash, cut, make your open jump shots.
T-Mac 0 of 4, Austin Diao over Ilgauskas. And the hustle of Shane Battier controls it. And a brand new shot clock. Screen by Yao. Yao tonight has gone 5 of 12. He's got 12. Only played in double figures, notching his 14th right there.
How about that footwork, though? Didn't put the ball on the floor. That little inside reverse pivot. Now, Jack Sikma, who was one of the assistant coaches, made that move popular when he was in the NBA, was brilliant at that. We're seeing a lot from Yao Ming using that little inside turn.
Houston, by the way, the number 9 offensive rebounding team in the NBA. They are +7 in offensive rebounds tonight. Look at that long pass by LeBron and the miss by Marshall.
Look, Kevin, I talked about when he gets the ball on the wing, he's looking to make that pass across the court to the three-point shooter. Because when you load your defense that weak side, that's where they want their shooters to be. That's where Donyell Marshall is so important to this team. He and Daniel Gibson and Damon Jones especially are guys that LeBron really looks for because they shoot a high percentage.
Scola picks up his second personal foul, the rookie from Argentina. Battier stays on James. Up there loading up, and he passes over to Donyell Marshall, just like you were talking about.
There it is. You know, because basically when he catches on the wing, it's a zone. And so that skip pass is 2 passes removed in a zone. You can't cover that.
No fouls to give either way. Brady. And Rafer Alston takes it inside. The Van Gundy offense versus the Adelman offense. What changes and differences do you see?
Van Gundy offense, post up the Yao, spread the floor, get behind the three-point line, get the double team, swing it, get the 3, or Tracy missing once again. A lot of pick and rolls from McGrady, string it out with a double team, move the ball around, get the 3s. So it's a different offense, and the Rockets are still adjusting, and I think their 3s are coming differently than they did last year, and not in the same kind of rhythm.
Middle of the floor, here is LeBron against Battier. Swings it outside, and a rebound by Scola. So LeBron James goes 5 of 10 with a Cleveland high 13, a game high 14 by Yao Ming. And Tracy McGrady battling the flu, 0 of 5. He is scoreless so far. Cleveland closes on a 12-6 run. Cleveland did not win the first quarter, but that doesn't really bother this team if they don't get a good start, does it?
Now they're a team that plays very well in the fourth quarter, and a guy who played well tonight off the bench, Bonzi Wells, with our Craig Sager.
Well, Bonzi gave the team a spurt, 9 points, 4 rebounds. With Tracy obviously suffering from the flu, what did you feel you had to do tonight?
Well, I definitely knew I had to pick my game up a little bit and be a little bit more offensive assertive. And just like the rest of the guys, we knew Mac was going to be Ellen a little bit, so we wanted to step all facets of our game up.
Coach also told us that you're going to be guarding LeBron James several times in the second half. What will you do defensively against LeBron?
Well, I'm going to just try to keep him in front of me, and hopefully the backline guys are, if he do get a lane on me, they'll be able to clog it up, and we'll be able to get out to the shooters because he's an excellent passer, excellent player. So hopefully great team defense will help stop him.
Thanks a lot. After this break, we'll go to the T-Mobile halftime report in Atlanta. VJ, Kenny, and Charles.